G'day guys, Declan here from Tier 1 Metalworks. So today we're going to be showing you how we direct mount our rails straight onto a rooftop tent. So today I'm giving you the example of our 100/105 series rails mounted to a CSS 1.3 tent. So this process is to get the rails as low and light and simple as possible. We're running just the rails and the rear wing, no crossbars, nothing. We're actually drilling through the base of the tent with some washers and bolts, going a full direct mount setup to give you the best possible, strongest solution. And then we'll show you at the end, fitted to the car and everything. So I will stress too, this is not for everyone. You don't have to do it this way. This is just if you want to go the lowest, slimmest, best option. You are going to need to drill through your tent and modify it. If you don't want to do that, perfectly fine. You can just run some of the crossbars we do, put the rack together, bolt it up in the channels. It's still going to work really good. A great process too. But if you're going for the more extreme version, you want to reduce weight, super low, light, nice, solid, then this is the setup for you. So yeah, follow along in the video. We'll give you a nice, real good in-depth on everything we do. And yeah, hopefully you can do this one at home yourself. Cheers.
First things first. Now, number one, what I've got here is a test set. We've literally just painted this by hand to get it on the car to do the video because this car's going to be going away for a few week Fraser trip. By the time this video comes out, you've probably got your rails, it's all good. You have your instruction sheet, your demo on how to do it. But for now, there is no instruction sheet. I'm just going off the measurements that we've got written down. You'll be supplied all this, so it'll be super easy to work out. But what I'm going to do to start with is at the back and the front of the tent, I'm going to go along and I'm just going to get a centre mark. So our measurements at the back, so between your two rails is 1020 and at the front it's 1093. So I'll get my centre mark and then I'm going to halve that and I'm going to mark 2 marks just on the tent so we can put the rails on, bolt it to the wing, with or without the wing, doesn't really matter which way you're going to do it. And yeah, literally just line it up straight with those 2 marks, mark the holes, figure everything out, simple as that. Now, when we're talking back to front of the tent, it doesn't really matter where it sits. In an ideal world, you're trying to get the rear wing to bolt into this bit here just because it's a bit thicker. If you've got to mount something else or whatnot, it really doesn't matter. You could, have this much overhang at the back, like it's fine. Don't know if it's going to work, but we're hoping with that little Anderson plug bit at the front, we'll be able to line that up with one of the holes in the rails. And so that's probably going to determine where we're going to sit so we don't have to modify them at all. Some tents, rails in the past, particularly like patrols and these tents, a lot of the time, because they're all different and it's hard to get the same hole to line up with all the tents, most of the time we just drill a hole through our rail to suit, run the Anderson cable plug through, just like the wiring, unpick it, re-drill it into the tent and away you go. So yeah, I'm going to go along, get my 2 marks and yeah. I have to use a good old calculator for this because I haven't worked anything out previously. 1165 divided by 2. So 582.5. 1, 2, 5. Cool. Got myself a good centre mark. Now I can go 1.20 m. That's a pretty easy one for me to figure out. 5 meters 10. So I always like to work at 100. So because you've got the movement on the end of the tape measure, you generally don't measure to it. So instead of going 510, I'm going to go 610 and then I'm going to mark it on 100. Either way you do it, doesn't really matter. That's just what I'm going to do. Whoop. 610. 100. And I'm going to go put it on 100 and then I'm going to mark 610. Now, when you bolt the rear wing to the rails, if you're running a rear wing, it's probably going to line it up perfectly and you don't even need the rear marks, but makes life a lot easier. Check that's the same. Yep, obviously it's perfect. 582.5. And now double checking my measurement. So I've got 1093. Now, might be a little bit different with your rails because slight alterations have happened. What we're fitting is just a test set. So check your instruction sheet to make sure it's the same. And yeah, just work to that. 1093 divided by 2. 546.5. We'll go 646.5. 100. Bang. Five, 4, 6, 5. All right, cool. So, got my 2 measurements. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the rails, I'm going to bring them over to the tent. I'm going to bolt the little tabs on the back of the rails that comes with the wing. I'm going to bolt the wing together and then we're going to space it out. I'm basically going to lay the rails out to those 2 marks, see if we can get it to work with that Anderson plug, and then I'm going to mark the holes ready to drill. And obviously I'm going to show you that whole process. So yeah, let's get into it. Be careful how you place these on the tent. You don't want to go right near the edge and then have it roll and fall off, because then you're going to drop your rail on the ground and potentially going to dent, scratch it. That's not ideal. So probably best practice to get a block of timber, something heavy, just put it on the 2 ends. I'm not going to worry about it because I'm happy with it, but it might just be worth doing because nobody likes scratching or damaging something new. Tire shattering. Now for this one, we just need a 10mm spanner and, what's that? A 4mm Allen key. I've just got a ratchet spanner and a T-handle, but you can use any spanner, a shifter, whatever you got. Set of pliers to hold it, and then just a basic Allen key. Let me just show you. Something I recommend all the time with working with stainless is anti-seize. Right, wing tabs are on. Now we're going to actually bolt the wing on, put it all together. Now, I should have mentioned, we're just going to do this loosely because we want to just pretty much tack the wing to the rails, put it on the tent, position everything, mark our holes, and then we're actually going to pull it back apart to drill the holes, set the tent, prep it all, and then it'll all get bolted back together when we're ready to actually install them. Well, I did that just about as awkwardly as possible. Hopefully you can do a better job than me. Now, we've already undone the Anderson plug, so we actually had to open up the tent, undo these screws. We pulled them off completely. Actually, you know what? I undid them without opening the tent. They're gonna end up probably getting filled just with a bit of silicone. We might run a couple extra screws just in from this side just to seal the hole. I had punched this in just ever so slightly so the cable folds nicely. I just took off a bit of the corrie. Fortunately for us, it's going to line up perfectly with one of the holes in the tent. If you're fitting to another tent and it doesn't quite line up, go for your life with just drilling a hole to suit. You want to use a bit of paint to touch up the hole though. You want to keep these sealed, and it's also, one, we're going to silicone this, but if you've had to drill a hole to go through, it's worth, again, painting, and then silicone over the top. So everything we do gets electroplated and powder coated. You're not really gonna get through that, like it's the best process you can do. But if you're gonna drill straight through and you're gonna expose raw steel, you wanna seal it really good. Yeah, but I'm just gonna show you now how simple it is to unpick an Anderson plug. All you need is just a screwdriver. You literally, if I can get this right, bang. So there's just two little fins inside, a bit hard to see your Anderson plug. All you need to do with your screwdriver is just flick them up and that'll just pop straight out. And then we can, pressing buttons on the camera, don't want to stuff anything up. So, perfect. It's right on the edge. It's just gonna work. Being able to get that to come through. And then all I'm gonna do is, so we don't quite get to those existing holes, cut it out if you want, whatever. But we're just gonna slap the Anderson plug there, drill 2 screws just straight into the bottom of the tent, holds really good, a little bit of silicone, re-put those wires back in, and that's all sorted. So, if you're doing a CSS, simple. If you're doing another tent, might be a little bit more to it, but it's an easy process. Right, so we've worked on that Anderson plug. I've centered the back, so whatever the measure, like the spacing was there, I've done the same to this side. I've gone to those 4 marks. Now it's time to mark out and get ready to drill the holes. So you can literally go in any of these holes along the tent. It doesn't really matter where you go. You can position this back and forth if you don't want to work for that Anderson plug. It actually doesn't really matter on these. So, don't feel you've got to drill in the perfect place. Ideally, like I showed you earlier, I'm trying to use that thicker bit at the tent for bolting the wing, just because it is solider, but the wing's not supporting anything, so it doesn't matter. I'm gonna just pick 10 holes, probably gonna use the big cutouts, just 10 along the rail. Generally recommend 8 to 10 holes down the side of the tent, works perfectly. There's no need to really do any more. I wouldn't do any less because it is good to sort of spread the load. And we go along with a texture, just gonna trace all those out, and then we'll get ready to hole punch them and start drilling. All right, they're all marked. I noticed that end had moved when I first marked it, so I had to go along. Probably just gonna use like a white texture so I know exactly what's what. Just got to check that things don't move, because you are drilling into your tent. You don't want to do this twice. You don't want extra holes. I've marked all the holes around in there. I'm going to actually open the tent, have a look at the control box, and make sure I'm not drilling into it, avoid it. There's nothing else really in this tent you're going to hit, but if you're doing another tent, it's always worth just measuring to make sure while like opening it up, checking to make sure there's nothing inside that's important you're going to hit, like wiring, lights, right on the edge of the tent, but because they sit in, you're not going to have a drama with that. Some of the bigger rails, we'll actually sort of like measure to the end to figure out exactly how much space we have on the inside and try to work it perfectly to the biggest washer we can fit in close to the edge. So yeah, check everything. Now I'm just going to quickly remark those. Going to rip the rails off the tent and we're going to get ready to start drilling. So for this next step, a couple blocks of timber is recommended. You're going to want a drill, power drill, a small little pre-drill bit, just for, pre-drilling the hole. Next up we use an 8.5mm drill bit for the actual hole, and I'm just going to use a countersink bit just to take the burr off. If you don't have a countersink bit, this is 8.5, maybe use like a 10 or a 13mm drill bit, just to get the burr off the edge, keep everything nice and smooth. Also just going to need a punch and a hammer. If you don't have the punch and the hammer, it's not crucial. This is just to get a nice perfect center. I'm going to go along, I'm going to mark it. I'm going to open the tent a bit just with the timbers, which just lets everything inside sort of sag, so there's no way, I can, if I accidentally go through too far, I'm not going to drill into any sort of important part of the tent. Worth just checking that, because that would suck if you accidentally drilled through your canvas. Never done it, never come close to it, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. I think that's about it. Another thing I'll mention, so the floors in these, I think they're about 15-20mm thick. It's like a thin sheet of aluminium, then you've got like a honeycomb sort of insulation inside, then another thin sheet. So they are quite strong and they'll support really well, but it's all alley and soft, so no need to try and be like a hero and smash a center into it and drill big holes. We've got to be sort of delicate with it and everything will be nice. Also, with some of these little rivets that are going to hit, now maybe this isn't recommended, but it's what we do. Just going to give them a bit of a tap down with the hammer, just so when the wind goes on here, it's not fouling, like it runs flush. Because this is so soft, it's easy to do. That just means no fouling. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up the tent, I'm going to check for that control box, then I'm going to put my timbers in and start drilling. So I blocked it up. You could do it standing all the way up. I've just used these timbers as a bit of a spacer, put a bit of steel on just to stop it from wanting to pop up. Now I'm going to go along and I am going to drill all the holes. Put a pair of safety glasses on, be smart. Now you can really take your time when doing it. Careful of that. Now you can really, best to take your time when doing this, make sure you're drilling everything nice. I've done so many of these tents that I just speed through it because, yeah, it's quite easy for me. Right, going along with the bigger bit now. It's good to sort of try and brace yourself so you're not going the full length of the drill bit in, or touch something, or some of those like drill stoppers, just so the less chance you have of going all the way through, the less chance you have of hitting anything. I'm quite happy just bracing myself and going in far enough, but that might be another little tip for you. Now we're going to go along with the countersink bit or a big drill bit, just take the little burrs off everything. Then we're going to back it off the roof, pop up the tent, get in there and just deburr everything else. Then it's also a good idea, we'll probably just do it at the end, to vacuum everything inside to get rid of any metal shavings. So I've just popped open the tent. We're gonna quickly deburr the inside, give it a bit of a back, and then we're ready to start bolting the rails on. This is definitely one you want some safety glasses for if you're drilling up above. You don't want to get a piece of metal in your eye. Trust me on that one. All right, now the messy part can be cleaned. We're going to go along. I've got a tube. That's what I'm using. It just comes from Bunnings. That's literally where we get it. Bit of Sillies, Flexi Seal, multi-purpose sealant. I've gone black because it's good. You can use pretty much anything. This stuff's great. Helps add a bit of structure too. I'm going to go around all the holes, and this is just going to help hold the rail there, but it's going to be a really good sealant. Because we want to go a bit nuts with sealant, because we don't want any water getting into the tent. Never had a failure, never had anyone had issues with it, or at least no one's told me. We do this all the time, not a drama. As long as you seal your holes up good, you should be laughing. Another thing too, I have been recommended, is to put Loctite on your threads to stop any water being able to actually come up the thread. Yeah, that's another little one you could do, but we're just using sealant, never had a drama. Most of the time the sealant sort of just runs itself around, like it squishes down and just gets over everything and sort of seals every gap. So it gets on the thread and in the nut too and just, yeah, holds everything together, seals it well. I just used some other sort of long bolts just to put through a couple of the holes to help set everything in place and locate it. Then we're going to bolt the rails, the wing together, put all the bolts through the bottom and do it up. So I've just had to loosen off the wing because this was a test set. It's all not lining up perfectly, but your actual set, the wing should space it perfectly. Now, what we're doing, the bolts and the washers at the moment aren't they're not included. The kits that come with the rails are designed for fitting our crossbars to like a lot of the generic smaller tents, like a drifter, some of the O-cams, a roof rack. So we'll supply I think they're a 20mm hex bolt, where what I'm using here is a 35mm. Now, hopefully by the time you're watching this video, we already sell these as an extra kit with the washer and the bolt. Again, these washers you can literally just get from Bunnings, same with the bolts. Yeah, a nice big washer. So bolt, washer, that goes through the base of the tent. And then we're going through the rail. And after that, we'll put on, you'll be able to see this mudguard washer and then a nylock nut. So I'm going to go along and I'm just going to do sort of tack one front and back just to get everything sitting in place, do them up, and then I'll go along and do the rest of them.
10, 12 minutes part of the video is better. Who's that? Who? Yeah, like, oh, here's someone.
Oh, yeah, some kind of big fine.
Oh, you went. Yeah, cool. Yeah, give it a nice wash, because we don't fat photo, it's not. And because these make my hands hold up really nicely, but the less, like, you know, pressure washing you're doing on the blades and shit, the better. Yeah. Because, yeah, it's just like no prime or nothing. So how about this if you get regular wash up? You might fuck it. Yeah, no, I'll do that too.
Right, so we've got the tent hooked up to the cranes, all flipped over, ready to go. We've got the car in, we put little rubber pads down, we've trimmed up the roof trims, about ready to drop it on the car, and yeah, away we go. So we're happy.
Yeah, I'm fucking perfect.
Couldn't have gone down nicer there. Couldn't have gone down nicer. We've got the crane unhooked and yeah, show you how we bolted up. Right, so it's on, everything lined up perfectly. We're going to start bolting it up. What have we got here? We got the dome bolts, a washer, and I've actually put a bit of nylon around the thread to hopefully help stop the water. So this is only a temporary set for the minute. We're going to be pulling it off soon, so we're not really going to use any silicone. As these are known to have water leak issues, definitely recommend a bit of nylon around the thread to help stop water get through. Probably would be best if this is going to stay on long term to silicone around all the holes before you drop the rooftop tent on. Put your bolt in and then silicone up around that too. So because we're designing these perfectly for outside fitting because we want a direct mount tent, look at all that room I've got to just get the bolt straight in, perfectly lined up. Now you can just use a standard Allen key to do that up, or I've got this little mini ratchet. So I can get in there and ratchet it up. So I'll go along, we'll do them all. There we go.